What's up? It's your girl Drama Queen coming to you with another reaction video for season 7 of 60 Days In. This is still a reaction video for the latest episode, which came on September the 29th, Thursday on A&E. Episode 7, titled Pain, Pads, and Police. So this episode, we're going to talk about the first two P's, pain and pads. We're going to talk about Rose, who is in the women's pod in B3 with Trinity. If you missed the first reaction video for this episode, it is about Trinity. So make sure you go back and watch it. So let's go ahead and dive into Rose. I knew that this was going to be a very powerful, emotional, angry, sad, remorseful. I just had a lot of emotions with this episode. When I saw something, a snippet that was put out, to kind of give us an idea of what was going to be on this episode, I knew that I was going to be proud of Rose. And I was like, I could unequivocally feel every single thing that Rose said. It just really hit home for me. So let's go ahead and dive into Rose, the woman, the women's pod in B3. Before we do that, here's something that I want to say, because I get so sick and tired. I heard it on my season, but when I was having my little social media argument with Mr. Lucky Chucky on TikTok, one of the things that several of his followers said, and it really ticks me off because this is how a lot of people think. They said, well, Shanice, the thing you're not taking into consideration is that the women's pod is a lot easier than the men's. In what world? Because if you watch my season on season 6, they trained the men how to do self-defense, but they didn't train the women, and they said that they have more issues in the women's pod, but they didn't train us. Issue. The fact that as a man, half of your bathroom time, you don't have to have toilet tissue, that's an issue for us as a women. Lack of hygiene products. So you can't compare how the men in the women's pod are. They both have their issues. But I hate to hear men say, oh, well, y'all had it easy. No, the hell we did not. If you don't have feminine hygiene products and you don't have tissue, let me just give you an example. These are paper towels, but these are some little cheap paper towels. So imagine running out of tissue. And, I don't have a menstrual cycle due to celiac disease, but my roommate has a menstrual cycle. So we were given one roll of tissue a week. And that was okay when she wasn't on her menstrual cycle. Or imagine if you have 2 or 3 roommates on their menstrual cycle and you're trying to wrap up your pads because you don't want to smell them, you don't want to look at it, you're trying to do all of that. Men that think that it's easier to be in the women's pod than the men's pod, which is absurd to me. I don't get it. There were times I was out of tissue. I don't like bodily fluids. I don't like people touching stuff. And imagine that this is a roll of tissue. Imagine it's just sitting in a jail. Imagine you go to the CO and you're like, we're out of tissue and I got to go to the bathroom. And she just takes her hand and does that and rolls the tissue and gives it to you. Like, who wants to wipe their hoo-ha with tissue that's been up, people been coughing, sneezing, doing all of that, and then you wrap it around my hand? Or your hand, I'm sorry. There's no way in hell that the women's pod is easier than the men's. It's different sets of issues. All right? So now that I got that out of the way, one of the things that was said was that they are lacking lots of supplies. Towels, pads, toilet paper. Then they had the audacity to say that the pads are on commissary. That's not a basic hygiene item. What in the hell is wrong with this jail? Before Sheriff came in and did what he did, I'm sitting here thinking, you give these young ladies 2 pads, so that's a pad every 12 hours. I ain't had a period in about 10, 12 years, but baby, I went through a lot more than 2 pads a day, and I I got the super duper good pads, and you can guarantee that these aren't the good brand of pads. These are the bad, cheapest pads you could get. So to give these women 2 pads a day, and then a man want to tell me that the women's gel is easier than a man, I don't think so. Because you don't have periods and you don't have to have tissue except for when you shit. You don't have to worry about how these menstrual pads are going to smell when they're in there. How are you going to dispose of them? How often do they throw away the trash? So many things that you guys don't even know about. So to make a judgment pisses me off. But this is why I'm an advocate for the people. Rose said that it hurt for her to pee. I just paused. I paused because there's nothing. Listen, if you have never been sick and in pain while being incarcerated, you will not understand. There's so many unknowns. What's wrong with me? Can I trust these people? You know, with me, once I raised hell about medical, they prescribed me some medicine for my swollen feet and heart palpitations without even knowing what the hell was wrong with me. Where'd they do that at? Where'd they do that at? So I just instantly start feeling sorry because I know what I went through. And it makes it even harder when you know that you have the ability to go home. You have the ability to tap out. I wonder, did she pass the kidney stone? Because she said she felt like she passed it and she has previous history. And, you know, she asked Yasmin to come up, who's a former nurse. She asked the right person. And you know what? With her bringing Yasmin. I want to know more of Yasmin's story. Like, why are you here? Why are you in jail? Is Yasmin out? I want to know if Rose has talked to Yasmin, because you're a former nurse. What in the hell are you doing up in jail? What did you do? Makes me want to know a little bit more about her story. On a scale of 1 to 10, she said it's a 20. I remember feeling that. It sucks. It sucks. Sucks being sick, period. But in jail, when you can't even be comfortable. When I'm sick, I just want to be in the comfort of my home. I want to sit in silence where people are still yelling and the smells and everything. And, you know, I felt like I got an instant attitude because I felt like I didn't know how long she was there waiting for medical. It just felt like a long time. I waited a week for medical. With swollen feet. Now it pisses me off. It does, because when I was released, my thyroid levels were 7 times what they should have been. Maybe had the medical staff did what they were supposed to do while I was incarcerated, I wouldn't have suffered as much as I did then, and I suffer still now. I hated to see Rose go through this in this episode because it took me back. For those that don't know, with me developing the swollen feet and the heart palpitations, I had to have a surgery in November of 2021, and it's still a decision I don't know if I regret or not, because my life has not been the same since the surgery, or since going to jail, actually. So, the only reason I was able to get care was there was a CO that did not agree to be on camera, but she was very persistent and she was worried about me. And so she sent me to medical. I feel like Rose was where I was, where it's like you feel like I gotta stay here because these women could die if I don't do something. And it's so scary because with me, you had heart. You can't play around with heart. I can't help these people if I'm dead, if I allow these people in this jail to kill me. And I don't know what's wrong with me. It's so much. And why the hell were the keys not working? What if there was a fire? Like, when Rose just was like, she started crying, I started crying. Because what they did not show you is I had multiple meetings where I was just like, I'm ready to go. Like, I'm sick. I'm throwing up. I have diarrhea. I hadn't pooped in 9 days. My feet are swollen. My heart palpitations are waking me up. And then I just remember everything that I gave up to be there. And I was like, when they asked, do you want to tap out? And, I felt Rose. She's like, she had a thing. And she's like, she cried. I just felt it. Because you're like, I gave up so much and I want to make a change and I don't want to give up. It was a hard decision. Do I put myself first? Do I put my health first? Or do I keep fighting for these women? Rose meets with the sheriff about the hygiene. She's had one jumpsuit for over 30 days, which I think is beyond ridiculous. With us, they did collect laundry, but it was not organized, and you very seldom got your laundry back. There was a time I had broke my cell number on my clothes, and I never got my clothes back. And I had to, be big and, bold like Rose was last time. And like, I better not see nobody with my shit on or it's going to be a problem. And I didn't. I had to steal people's stuff. I stole a lot of stuff while I was in jail. And it's ridiculous because really, truly, I could have caught another charge for stealing things that are basic necessities. Hygiene products, clean clothes, feminine products. Sheriff said he was going to address it. And I'm proud that he did. I was so proud, and Rose should have been so proud of herself. Tears literally filled my eyes when the new jumpsuits were handed out. And they were given 6 pads and tissues. One of the ladies in there said the little things count for a lot in jail, and they do. The celebrations are so small. Because a lot of those women don't have things to look forward to. For me, the celebration was commissary. But a lot of those women don't get commissary. So it's just having the bare necessities. Because, some of them don't have it on the street. But Sheriff said this is an upgrade. Is it? It ain't looking like it so far in episodes 1 through 7. But one thing I will say is I'm proud of Sheriff that he continued. And this is making me, one of the things I did today is I reached out to the sheriff from my season. Because I want to interview him and I want to see the changes that were made. Are they still being made? Are they still, what's the status of the jail now? And I'm sure, I kind of want to reach out to, since I'm in Georgia, I kind of want to reach out to Sheriff Reginald and know what's going on. This was recorded, a year or so ago. Are these things still happening? Because it's one thing to do it for television, but it's another thing to do it to really, really make effective changes in your jail. Last notes that I have for Rose, I still keep harping on this. Someone just say it's been a month since our jumpsuits were washed. I'm sorry. You get 2 pads, so you're gonna bleed through that. Like, what in the hell? I put, what in the COVID-19 monkeypox kind of mess is that? But we had the same issues at ECDC. One of the things I would do is I would get pads. Since I don't have a period, I would get pads and give them to some of the girls. But one of the things that they also did at ECDC, Etowah County Detention Center, was use pads for multiple uses. So, one of the things that Rose said is that the officers are always pissed when you ask for basic hygiene items or questions. And I just think that's ridiculous. it should not be that way. And it's like, damn, I'm just asking for some soap. I just want to wash my ass. I need a towel. Like me, I wasn't asking for gluten-free bread. I wasn't saying, listen, you got gluten-free crackers. All I wanted was basic food group, fruits and vegetables, gluten-free. That's all I want. So let's go ahead and move into Darius from this episode. Friday the 13th, that's when we finally see Darius. I was wondering what was going on with Darius. So Darius, we know from last week that A6 is where Darius was. His pod flooded, had major plumbing issues. And so at this on this episode, he's moved to C1, which is where Carlos is. And I got a little jealous because I had noticed this before. I'm like, dang, y'all got plastic totes. Like, is that something you buy on commissary? I'm like, y'all must have some upgraded commissary, because I would have loved to have had a plastic tote to have my commissary in. But I shall digress. Anyway, I can see where Darius is coming from when he said it's hard to switch pods when he's gaining respect and building relationships in his current pod. I am glad to see that Deshaun was able to move with him as well. And I just love to watch their relationship, because Deshaun is like, I just want to be your roommate. I just want to be your roommate. And Darius is like, yeah, no, I don't want that punishment. But you can tell that he's joking, and they just have that relationship that I just really enjoy watching. Darius, have you talked to Deshaun? How is he? Is he still in jail? I want to know what's going on with Deshaun. I don't know why. I want to take Deshaun under my wing. God, he's just so naive and so just, fresh. I feel like it's not too late for him. I bet for Darius it was very difficult going from a pod that had 12 people to 50 people. That's a big ass difference. That would have been like a lot to do, like, for me. And there's no doors, so you gotta trust everybody. I was just like, whoa. So Darius, you had me freaking out. I know you wanted to come in there and you wanted to build these relationships. You were trying to do something fun to get the people excited. But anytime you are dealing with gambling, baby, it is a gamble. When they turned the TV off, all I was thinking was, oh God, Jesus, people gonna want their soups back. You're not gonna get paid. You've already spent your time organizing all of this. They turn it off. I low-key feel like they turned the TV off on purpose just to cause issues, but I could be wrong. They may not have known what was going on at the time. But start, playing that board game, gambling with soups. I thought it was a little dangerous, bruh. Love you to pieces. Understand why you did it. But before I even knew that the TV was going to get cut off, I was like, oh God. I just felt it in my spirit. I was like, something bad going to happen. And I don't want nothing to happen to Darius. Something bad going to happen. I just want him to be able to, if something bad happens, Lord, just let Darius be able to recover. And he did. He did. I kept thinking, what is he going to do now? People were talking. I want my money back. I understand it was a team building sort of exercise, but it backfired when they turned the TV off. So I just started thinking, what is he going to do? I like the fact that I feel like Darius is a communicator. I feel like Darius is like, well, let's talk about it. Let's take a vote. Let's be fair. I don't want you guys to be pissed off at me and taking it out on me. So let's take a vote. I would think that he end up giving everybody their stuff back, but I'm hoping we'll see in another episode, maybe the next episode, if this continued for the Golden State game, if they did it again. I think, if I remember correctly, Darius said, I'm not doing this shit no more, because I can see how it was really a waste of your time a little bit, because you didn't get your part out of it if you had to give everybody their stuff back, because that was just really the only fair way to do it. I believe, let me make sure, I think that's all I have on Darius. Yeah, I'm going to touch Darius a little bit when I talk about Carlos and the police and the snitch and all of that good stuff. But right now, that's all I have for Rose and Darius for this episode 7 of season 7 of 60 Days In, titled Pain and Pads. We talked about the pain. We talked about the pads. The last reaction video for episode 7 is going to be about the last P, which is police. So make sure that you stay tuned. You hit that bell, you subscribe, and you come back and see what your girl Drama Queen has to talk about. Drama Queen out.